getting ready for a national triathlon hosted by Above Average Fitness. It's happening this coming Saturday, March 23rd at 6:30 a.m. in Tobago in the Bucco Integrated Facility. This morning, I want to welcome Vice President of Trinidad and Tobago Triathlon Federation, Mr. Douglas Darby, World Triathlon and Ironman coach Alyia Drakes, and Triathlete, who's been here before, Jenae-Marie Price. Good morning to you all and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Not a problem at all. Let me start with you, Mr. Darby. In terms of triathlons, first of all, what does it take to run a triathlon federation in the first place? Like, what is entailed in this aspect of things?
Well, triathlon is a sport that requires a lot of management, a lot of infrastructure, being three different sports in one. So to put on an event requires a lot of work. Especially most of the events will take place on the roads. So therefore, we will need to get police support to have the roads blocked and cordoned off and all the rest of it. We need to have it. So it's usually done in the ocean.
All right.
Lifeguards will be needed to do that and all that. So it's a very costly venture to put on an event in triathlon.
Right, and each event needs a particular level of support, is what you're saying, right?
Correct.
So we have that support you're talking about in terms of blocking roads, in terms of lifeguards on duty. Yeah. I imagine there's also some support that's required in terms of the bikes and things of that nature as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, so there's from the federation's point of view, or from whoever above average in this case who are helping us with putting on this event on Saturday, there's that infrastructure. But from an athlete's perspective, it's also an enormously expensive sport. You've got three sports to contend with, three sports to think about.
Yeah.
A bike, I myself being a cyclist, is a very expensive thing to own and maintain. Then, of course, you have the swimming aspect of it. Most of our swimming is done in pools for training. Yes, we can do it in the sea, but Alyia, as a coach, will tell you that you get better coaching in a pool where the coaches can actually look at the athletes train. So pool time is costly, you know, and then, of course, running, you have your shoes and whatnot. So it is a very expensive.
Well, let me. So that's the support aspect of things and
Absolutely.
the administrative aspect of things that's needed to be and put on a triathlon.
Correct.
When it comes to training for a triathlon, let me jump to you, Alyia, because I mean, generally speaking, what's the time frame from somebody who just casually or recreationally, maybe a sports person, they might be interested in running, riding, swimming, and if you want to turn that person into an athlete that is competitive and, let me say, top tier athlete, how long does that process take?
It depends on where the athletes start. A lot of athletes come into it with a background in at least one of these sports.
Right.
So they might come in with a swimming background, so then you mightn't have as much time to spend on the swim. It's just more about conditioning. If an athlete is starting from scratch, then we just have to work with them. And as a coach, we can't exactly put a firm time frame and say, well, I'm going to get you ready for this race in 3 months. We have to start with where you are. And if they're not ready in 3 months, we're going to pick a race that's further down and say, okay, we're going to get you ready for here, because we don't want to risk injury.
So, but for an athlete who's performing, let's say in Jenae's case, she's been training, she's been doing the work, she recently would have competed in competitions, etc. How many triathlons can one athlete do in a year if they're fit enough?
Generally speaking, you want to give about a 3-month time frame for a big event, but you also don't want to have too many main events a year. You want 1 to 2 big races that you want to aim for the year, and then you might have other races built in that could serve as training races or races to see where you're at. But in terms of looking at an athlete's race calendar, we're aiming for 1 to 2 main events for the year.
All right, so we have a main one coming up this Saturday, yes?
Yes.
This Above Average Fitness is hosting the National Triathlon. Jenae, are you taking part in this one?
Yes, I am.
Are you prepared and ready?
Yes, I am.
What does it mean to you to be ready for a triathlon? Because you would have recently competed in another one, and now you're here again ready to compete in this one. What does it mean to you to say, all right, I know I'm ready for this next one?
Right, yeah. It really all depends on how my body is feeling. I know I put in the training. I know I put in the work. So when it comes down to race, it's just time to taper, get the blood flowing, and then ready to perform.
Do you still get nervous before races?
I get nervous for every race. Every single race.
How do you navigate those nerves to be able to perform?
Recently, it has been giving me some trouble, you know, not getting that anxiety before a race. I mean, it's kind of inevitable. But when it comes, I do smaller races to kind of ease with it. And I just stay confident in my training. I know I put in the work, and I know that I'm ready.
Nice. So we're looking forward to seeing how you perform on Saturday. I mean, do you enjoy the draining aspect of it? Because I'm sure by the time you finish a race, you're bond, a proper bond.
Yes, you're exhausted, but I honestly love it. Before a race, I'm always excited and to see how well I'm going to do and how much I can push myself. And by the end, I know I've given all my all, and it's very nice.
And that's all we can ask of you, to give it your all. Douglas, let me jump back across to you. Why is this race on Saturday so important?
This race serves as one of our 3 national events. So we have a national aquathlon, which took place 2 weeks ago in Las Cuevas, which is a swim and run.
Okay.
We will also have a national duathlon held in the end of September, early October. But this is our national triathlon for the juniors. For the sprint, we have different distance races. So for the sprint and super sprint, this race serves as our national event. So therefore it is for those athletes and those doing those races, that is the pinnacle of their year locally.
And from what I understand, I was seeing something about this being able to take you to regional competitions as well?
Right. So this as well as the National Aquathlon, which took place 2 weeks ago, formed the backbone of the selection process for our Carifta team. Our Carifta team is our juniors, 11 to 21, that will be held in Barbados on the 17th and 18th of August. So we're doing our selection process now for that team, for that event.
So you're taking the team from this one that's happening on Saturday, or from both the aquathlon and this one?
Both of them form part of the criteria to select the team.
So Jenae, you're going for the team again? That's what we're talking about. Alyia, before we wrap this morning, can you let people know who may be interested in getting into triathlons, duathlons, aquathlons? How can they, what should be the first step that they take?
To start.
But how you to start? Which part it is go to start?
You know, one of the best ways to start, I think, is always to volunteer to race, because races always need volunteers. And if you volunteer and see what's involved, it might pique your interest a little bit. And then start with a smaller race, start with a local race, contact the federation. If you just want to do part of it, you can do an aquathlon and see where that gets you. People can reach out to different clubs if you want to just start training. Even if it might not be to do a race now, you might just start building up your fitness. So yeah, just start.
Because it's also a really good way to just work out, right?
Yes, to work out and stay healthy.
If people want to get in contact with the Federation, Douglas, how do we do so?
Well, we do have a website that we can get in touch via that mechanism, and they have all the links to the various people on that website.
All right. And Jenae, if somebody is saying that they want to become a triathlete, tell them what kind of work is involved now. Like what kind of hours and how much training and things is involved?
It's a lot to be a triathlete, so you have to know what you're getting yourself into. I'll put it as that.
How do you balance the 3?
Right. I've kind of been doing triathlon for a while, so I've gotten accustomed to balancing it all. It's managing your time very, very wisely. Lots of up and downs. Here in Trinidad, we don't have many facilities for triathlon, so I will have swimming in one area, riding in another. So lots and lots of up and down. So I have a lot of trainings back to back, which definitely always helps when it comes to racing.
Douglas, would you say that having a facility for triathlon is something that is necessary, or we could be good with the ocean and the road?
You can always wish for more. so having a facility would be good. One of our big challenges here, and this leads to maybe why you were thinking, why are we having our national championships in Tobago? Tobago is a much better place for having triathlons. They have the facilities naturally more so than we do have in Trinidad.
Calmer beaches and smoother roads.
Correct.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Let me thank you all so much for joining us this morning, and all the best on Saturday at the National Triathlon hosted by Above Average Fitness. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage each and every one of you to go out there today and make a difference. Today now, all the best in SCA to all the students who are doing so. Happy World Down Syndrome Awareness Day, happy International Forest Day, and on behalf of all of us here at TTT, I want to wish you a fantastic day, because remember, together we aspire, and if together we perspire, then together we most definitely can achieve. On behalf of Ironman Will and the entire team, have a great one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.